Welcome to Riftbound, and we are on a mission today to get a card graded. Now, I've never submitted a card to be graded before, and I've never even owned a graded card before, so we're starting from scratch, and we're going to go through and look at all the different options for grading companies and the process, and then we're going to pack the card and we're going to ship it out. Now, we're going to start by looking at the different options. There are 4 main companies that we're considering for grading. We've got Tag, we've got PSA, CGC, and Beckett. Now, the 4 of them are more or less the same with some little differences. Let's start with PSA being the most known. Their cards are usually worth the most. So if you have something that's really valuable and really, really expensive, you're probably going to want to go with PSA just because that has the most value and the most recognition on the market. But they have their fair share of controversies and things that people don't like about how they might be unfairly graded or they want to buy back, your valuable cards, things like that. So they have their own fair share of issues. Now we have Tag. Now I was really, really interested in Tag just because they do it a little bit differently. They say they use AI and it's more like supposed to be unbiased and just their process is different. And the cards look really, really sleek. Like you can see, they don't have that paper. They've just got that nice QR code. You get a full report and it's pretty interesting just to see exactly what they thought about your card and what the issues are and what dings you got. Now, CGC, kind of similar to the PSA. You get the little paper up there and they sort of have a similar process where it's people grading the cards. And for less expensive cards and things that are not crazy valuable, they're a really good choice. Same as Beckett, they're similar to CGC, not necessarily as much recognition and value as PSA, but overall a pretty solid choice. Now, the issue for me becomes that I am in Canada. So shipping things to the United States right now is not the easiest task, and I don't want to get hit with tons of duties and fees and customs and tariffs and all that stuff, which is going to happen. I was at the post office yesterday and you literally have to prepay duties for a package if you want to ship it to the US, and it's like a whole complicated thing. So Beckett and CGC don't have offices in Canada for me to ship to, and I don't want to deal with shipping it to the United States, especially because I'm going to start out by grading a card that's not really super, super valuable, just because it's my first time ever doing it and I don't want to send my prized possession and somehow I mess it up. So we're going to start with something that's not as expensive just to test it out and dip our toe in the waters. So I'm not going to do CGC or Beckett because I can't ship it to the United States and it's just not worth it for me. So this leaves us with PSA and Tag. Now they both have offices in Canada that you can ship to, so I won't have to worry about those fees. So my first choice realistically was to go with Tag just because I like the way they're doing it and I like, the technical stuff and I kind of like the technology that they're using. And I thought it was overall a pretty cool concept. Like when you have the grading, they tell you how everything works. You get these different reports and all that stuff. But then we look at the prices. So Tag, just the standard, which is what I would go with because I'm not going to submit 5 cards or 20. So just the standard is $39 a card. Now, I came to learn after that this is in US dollars. So it comes to me to about $55 to $60 Canadian. But then they have a submission kit, which I thought was pretty cool. However, the submission kit is not available in Canada. So if you are in the States, you can just buy this submission kit. It has the shipping prepaid in it. It has everything you need to pack up your card so you know you're doing it properly. And then you just ship it back and it has a little case and it comes back to you, which I thought was really cool, but it's not available in Canada. And I did contact the customer support to ask because, as you can see, originally I was going to go with Tag and I sort of had it all set up and I was testing it out. But when I came to the final page, they charge you over $40 just to ship it back. So you have to pay for shipping to ship it to Tag, and then they charge you $40 to ship it back, which is crazy because it's within the same province that I live in. So it's a little bit too expensive just for one card, especially something that's not super valuable, considering that after, you transfer the currency, you're paying about $55 to $60 for the card, and then over $40 for shipping plus taxes. So just because of that, Tag kind of lost out. I did contact the support to ask and make sure that that $40 was not prepaid shipping there and then a return shipping. And they confirmed after 5 or 6 days, they finally got back to me and they said, no, it's only the return shipping. So I'd have to pay another $20 to ship it there on top of that. So because of that, at least for the first card, we're probably going to just go with PSA, kind of get the standard experience. Now, PSA has a little bit better pricing, but much longer return time. So Tag, if you looked at it here, it was like 15 business days turnaround. Same as CGC was like 15 or 20 business days. But Tag is too expensive. So we're at PSA. Now, I am not submitting bulk, so I'm going to submit just a normal card, which is going to be $45 Canadian. Now, I did go through the process of this all the way to checkout to make sure it was actually in Canadian, and it is. And the turnaround time is 75 business days, which is quite a long time. But obviously, if you wanted it quicker, you could pay more. And if you have a really expensive card that's valued like, you know, way, way, way expensive, they literally have options that are like $10,000 or more, like just in cost to grade your card. But we are just going to go with the basic value price here. And they charge you $18 to ship it back, which is much better than $40 to $45. And it's the same sort of thing, like you have to pay to ship it there yourself, but then they ship it back for $18 in 75 business days. So we're going to go with the PSA version of this. Now, we're going to do everything like we're supposed to do. I've never done it before, and I'm going to be submitting one of my runes because I have a fancy alt art rune, and I thought that would be a good one to go with, and we're going to look at them after and kind of package it. But essentially, I have two of them, so if I screw up one, it'll be okay. So we're going to go through here, and I sort of started the submission so that we could see. So just the Fury Rune alt art from the first set. That's the card that we're going to go with. That was the submission. Now, if we go through the process of starting the submission, really all you have to do is just choose what you're sending in. So I'm sending in a trading card, and then you're just sending it for grading. So let's say you had it review, like if you already sent it in and you think it deserves a higher grade, you can send it in for review, things like that. But we are just submitting for a normal grading. And then you get to choose which one you want. So I'm obviously 1980 and present because it was something that came out like last year, and it has to just be a card that's less than $700, which it is. So that's what you'd go for. And it does say like Canadian dollars, so I had to double check. But that is the process. And then you just search for what you're looking for. So I was searching for Fury Rune, alt art, and Riftbound. So I got to make sure it's not the Chinese one, just the normal one. And then it has a little picture there, so you can kind of make sure, yes, that's what I'm looking for. So then you save it. And then that's your submission. And if you had any comments or anything, you'd add them here. But that is essentially what you do for the submission. And then you go to checkout and you fill in all your personal information.
Now, I'm going to grade one of these two Fury alt art runes from the first set. I have two of them, so I felt safe going with this choice because it is a card that I like a lot as I played a lot of the Fury sets, but also I have two of them. So if something happens to it or whatever, God forbid, it gets lost, it doesn't come back, it gets ruined, it's okay, I have another one. And it's also not my most prized possession, it's not a super expensive card, and it felt like a safe choice to test it out. Now I understand that this is not a super expensive card and you're probably paying more in grading fees and shipping and stuff like that, but I really just wanted to test out the process and see how it felt to grade a card and to get a card graded back returned to me, so I'm okay with that investment and I feel safe sending this card out. Since I have two of them, I'm just going through and checking to see kind of which one I think would do better. Now the thing with Riftbound cards, especially from the first set, is that they are very, very thick, and sometimes in the cutting process the edges are not super clean and there's a lot of like pilling. That's how I called it, like when the clothes get that little fluff on them, that's kind of what it looks like. So these two are honestly pretty nice, and it was kind of hard to tell which one I wanted to send and which one looked better. But I'm just looking here, trying to observe, make sure there's no dents or anything, which there really shouldn't because they've just been in a sleeve in a top loader this entire time. But just giving them a look and checking especially the corners and how the cuts are, because I know that's going to be the most important factor, really, since the Riftbound cards have that problem sometimes. Now, it's a little bit more difficult for me to tell the centering just because they don't have like really a border around the edges to look at since the art kind of fills the whole page. So I'm just looking at it to see, like, does it look centered? I think so. Is the spacing at the bottom kind of what you'd expect? Does that little rarity symbol kind of look centered to the card? Stuff like that. And realistically, I think these two were pretty comparable, so it was kind of hard to tell, but that one, as you can see at the top, looks like there's a little bit more pilling and kind of around the sides. So I was going to eliminate it for that reason and send the other one for grading to hope that it would get a better grade. Now, I understand that this card probably won't get a PSA 10, and I don't really care if it does. I just kind of want to learn the experience of actually sending a card for grading.
So this is the one that we're going to go with, and this is the one that we're going to pack up today and get ready to send out to PSA. Now, we're going to start by gathering all of our supplies. So I watched a ton of videos on this, but essentially you're putting the card in a penny sleeve, in a card sleeve, not a top loader. They're very specific about not a top loader, even though I hate those things, but that's okay. And then in between 2 pieces of cardboard with rubber bands to kind of keep it safe, and then packing tape and bubble wrap to get it ready to go. So that's what we're going to do now. We're going to get it all set up. Now, the first step is to put the card in a simple penny sleeve. So every time, every different grading submission, they want them just in a simple penny sleeve, just like that. Now we're going to put this card in the card saver. They say it's easier to get the cards in and out of this thing. I don't know if I'm just like missing a chapter in this book, but I don't like getting the cards in and out of these containers because they always feel so tight. Maybe mine's just really stiff, but I'm just gently working it in and kind of tapping it down so that I don't bend it in any way, because that would be devastating. But I did eventually get it in there nice and easy, and it's ready to go in this sleeve, which I guess it could fall out of the top loader probably a little bit more, so it kind of makes sense. And then you just sandwich it in between 2 pieces of cardboard that I cut to be just a little bit bigger than the card, so that way the edges are not around it, and you just put some bands. So I started out by just putting basically rubber bands that I bought at the dollar store. Originally here, I'm going to put on 3 of them, but when it comes time to the submission, I end up taking one off because I'm paranoid, and I've heard so many things online about how the PSA is like really, really strict, and if you don't have it packaged exactly how they want it, they're going to charge you like $1 million and just incinerate your card. So I ended up taking one of the bands off in the end, and that's all you do basically. You just wrap the bands around it, and then it's ready to go into its box to be shipped out. But I'm hoping that I've done it right and they're not going to be too strict, and I followed all the instructions in the videos, but we will see. That's part of the process of learning. So now we're going to pack the card up to ship. Since I live in Canada, I got this little Canada Post kind of box. It's a prepaid shipping, and it's much cheaper than if you just put it in a normal box at your house and then shipped it up. And then you put the little submission labels that you print out. There's like 3 or 4 pages in here. You kind of just put that underneath the rubber bands. That's what they recommend. So I just stuck it in there, and in their little instructional insert thing, PSA has the barcode at the top of that. So I tried to fold it up nice so that the barcode would be right there. Now I'm just going to start by wrapping this thing in bubble wrap. Since this is like a prepaid shipping box, it can weigh up to 5 kilograms. So obviously it's not going to weigh 5 kilograms because this is cardboard. So I'm going to really jam the bubble wrap in there to make sure it stays safe. I was actually quite happy that I was able to just buy this box from Canada Post. I've done it before to ship things, and obviously it's cheaper if you ship it in a bubble mailer, but they don't want you to do that, and I wouldn't want to do that either. So I'm fine with the box. And it was about $20, all included, taxes and everything, for the box with its shipping. And that's much cheaper than if I would have gone and just taken a box out of my recycling bin and packed it up, even if it was smaller. That's just how shipping works in Canada, unfortunately. It's quite an expensive thing, but that's okay. So I'm going to shove more bubble wrap kind of around this package and then inside of the box itself as well. And hopefully this is going to be nice and safe and snug in its little shipping box. So we're just wrapping it up again here. Now, I know that there are brokers that will ship your cards out to grading to any grading company for cheaper than doing it yourself. But I really wanted the experience of sending a card to grading and just kind of to learn the process and to see how it would go and to see if I enjoyed doing it. And in the future, if I'm going to submit a ton more cards, I might go with a broker, I might do it myself. I guess we'll just have to see how this one goes. Maybe I'll never want to submit a card for grading again. I'm not somebody who loves necessarily sealed collections and graded cards, but I wanted to do it for fun. So here we're just going to shove a little bit more bubble wrap in and then close up this box and it'll be ready to go. You have to make sure that you tape the barcode that they give you to print out on the top of your box, and then obviously also fill in, the address where it's going and the return address. But basically once that's done, I'm just closing it up and the package will be shipped out. So stay tuned. In 75 business days when I get it back, I will definitely be unboxing it on the channel. And in the meantime, feel free to check out other videos. We have tons of Riftbound content and pack openings, gameplay decks, and more.